Rex Hoggard joins us now from the Bahamas. Rex, what are your initial thoughts from today's press conference?
Damon, I was just watching the video you guys were playing of Tiger Woods playing at the Open Championship and the PGA and talking about his gait and how it has clearly changed since the car crash and all of the surgeries. Today, it was completely different. You can tell he was seriously favoring that right leg. And I talked with someone inside his camp. This really just flared up over the last week. He was looking forward to playing here. And then whatever it is he did to sort of ramp up to prepare for the competition this week just made it impossible for him to walk. We saw it today, how difficult it was going to be. It was also interesting listening to some of the sound bites that you just ran. He was talking about taking a golf cart. And next week and a few weeks at the PNC, he's perfectly fine with that because that's the PGA Tour Champions event, and you're allowed to take a golf cart there. He pointed out it's just 36 holes. Same thing for the match. But he was asked specifically about taking a golf cart this week, and it was interesting how he drew a very hard line and pointed out that he would never do that on the PGA Tour. He actually pointed back to his college days. He said that he played with Casey Martin at Stanford, who had serious leg issues and ended up having a golf cart on the PGA Tour and how difficult that was for him. But it's a line that Tiger will not cross in this particular case. Going forward, I think he said it about as plain as he has throughout, really since the car crash, that it's the major championships, maybe 2 or 3 events beyond that. But I think physically he's realized that he's reached that point that he has to really pick and choose.
Rex, another line that Tiger drew pretty clearly in that press conference was around Liv and specifically Greg Norman. There's been a lot of speculation about Greg Norman's future, and Majid Al-Sarrour, the head of Golf Saudi, was very clear a few weeks ago and he said Greg Norman's not going anywhere. Now we've had both Tiger and Rory McIlroy said Greg needs to go. What did you make of how strident Tiger was in his comments regarding both Greg Norman and the future of the Tour versus Liv Golf?
Eamon, we have sat through a lot of these Tiger Woods press conferences, and you can attest alongside with me saying that Tiger Woods has probably said more in the realm of golf. If you go back over the 2 decades he's been on the PGA Tour, while saying less, he has turned it into an art form of being able to get a microphone in his hand and answer the questions, but not really answering the questions. He answered the questions today. I go back to 3 things he said: animosity, angst, and disrespect, pointing out that he felt like the players, and certainly Greg Norman, that we mentioned numerous times, has shown all 3 of those attributes when it comes to this split at the highest levels of professional golf right now. I did find it fascinating. And look, Rory was the first one to crack this door open. And as the de facto spokesman for the PGA Tour, I think it was significant when Rory said that, yes, there is room for talks between the 2 circuits, but only if Greg Norman goes. It's a very strong caveat. The fact that Tiger Woods weighed in right behind him, I think, sends a very clear message to Liv Golf that there is room to have a conversation here. And when he was pressed to talk about exactly what the coexistence would look like, Tiger didn't have an answer to that. But it is interesting to me that going forward, they've at least laid out the ground rules, that if you want to talk, that if we want to find a way around the litigation and everything else that's going on, that this is the rule you're going to have to live by. And the ball's kind of in Liv's court at this point.
Rex, I've been struck at how critical this tournament has been throughout the career of Tiger Woods, dealing with chipping yips, or as he said, between short game patterns in 2014, or coming back from microdiscectomy surgery, or coming back from spinal fusion. He's been optimistic. He's been pessimistic this week. He said, I don't have light at the end of the tunnel. How would you describe the mood of today's presser?
I think it was upbeat because, again, it goes back to he has been very, very upfront about this ever since the car crash 2 years ago, that whatever his competitive future holds, it's going to be a very, very limited footprint. It's never going to be what it was, 10, 12, 15 events, whatever number you'd like to pick, that he's going to pick and choose and decide that, okay, I want to peak these 4 weeks out of the year. I would say that yesterday, I came into the press center yesterday when the announcement was made that it went out that Tiger Woods wasn't played. It seemed like the air did go out of the room because obviously you look forward to this event. As you pointed out, really, ever since he started this event, it always seems like there is something that happens this week that's significant when it comes to Tiger Woods. So without him in the field, certainly that is going to be a loss. But I didn't get the impression that it was either had changed his mood or that he was either heading in the wrong direction. Because I will tell you that looking ahead to the PNC, it almost felt like that was one of those weeks he wants to peak. Having the opportunity to play with Charlie still really excites him. So I think there's still enough left this year for him to find a way out of this particular problem with his foot. But it is the recipe going forward. It's what he's going to have to deal with.
Rex, my Golf Week Adam Shupak reported yesterday that a PGA Tour venue, the El Chameleon course down Mayacoba in Mexico, is likely leaving the PGA Tour to become a live golf venue. You followed up on that on golfchannel.com today. What more do you know about the future of what's happening down there?
I was at the Doral, the final event on the live schedule last month, and I was talking with a lot of players and actually saw what was described to me as a draft of next year's 14-event live schedule. And it was written in that Mayacoba would be the first event of their season starting in late February. And certainly that's a hit for the PGA Tour. It's an event that guys like. It's a venue that the guys like. And certainly the Tour did not want to leave. It makes sense. It's a Greg Norman designed golf course. If you look at the players that Live Golf have picked up, probably the best two Mexican players in Abe Answer and Carlos Ortiz. So it kind of fits. Probably the more interesting part is where the other pieces of the Live schedule is going to fit in as opposed to the PGA Tour schedule. On that schedule, I saw stops in Spain. Certainly Australia has been talked about quite a bit. So I think the bigger picture will be once the schedule comes out from Live Golf, exactly where all these pieces fall. Because going back to our previous conversation, if there is going to be any room for talk, they're going to have to find a way to coexist. And it starts with the two schedules not crossing over.
And you can read Rex's article on golfchannel.com. Fantastic reporting. Rex, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, guys.